What is the best DAW? There is actually an answer to this question. Hey guys, today I'm answering the question of what is the best DAW, or DAW, which stands for Digital Audio Workstation. That's the software that you record audio into, that you mix your music in, and that you create masterpieces within. If you're here, it's because you're probably wanting to buy one and probably seen loads of videos telling you loads of conflicting things about which one you should buy. And they're not exactly cheap either, so it's worth spending some time to work out which one you want. So I'm going to do two things in this video. First off, I'm going to give you my opinion from my experience. Then I'm going to give you the one and only, no quibbling, bona fide answer to the question, which DAW is the best? Because there is actually an answer. So, opinion first. I've used Cubase my entire recording life, which is over 10 years at this point. I've also used Pro Tools for the last 3 years, not by choice, but because that's all my workplace had. And I started using Ableton at work because I think it's a lot easier to access for younger, beginner musicians and producers, especially given the styles of music which are prevalent and popular right now. Honestly, I really like Cubase, and I regularly recommend it to people. Yes, there are problems with it, but in my experience, it's been a lot more user-friendly, a lot more intuitive, and a lot more stable than Pro Tools, for example. And Cubase is certainly more relevant to what I want to do than Ableton is. That's just my experience anyway. If I was doing more live performance stuff and wanted to take a DAW on stage with me, I probably would use Ableton. I don't really see Cubase working in a live setting, but anyway, those are the three softwares that I've really actually gotten to grips with and can basically use. I really briefly used Reason. I couldn't get my head around it, like, at all. I know it must be alright because my friend Sai, who creates a lot of music that I really enjoy, I think has exclusively used Reason for his entire recording career, so it must be fine. It just doesn't work with my brain, I guess. So yeah, my favourite is Cubase. Do with that information whatever you want. The main reason it's my favourite is because of how much money and time I have put into it. And the only reason I've did those things is because I got a light version of Cubase for free with my very first recording interface. With that in mind, let's move on to the second part of this video, which is the definitive answer to the question, which is the best DAW? The answer to this question is, I'm afraid, another question. And that question is, what is available? Chances are, if you're looking at buying a DAW, you're probably looking at buying an audio interface as well, and if you're not, you should be. Generally, I advise people to get an interface they like the look of that can do the things they need it to do, and stick with whatever software comes packaged with it, because I think they all come with some kind of DAW. And there's no real reason to spend any more money on it until you feel like you're at a point where the limited functionality of the free software is holding you back, either because you want more or you want better digital instruments. You might be limited in the number of projects you can have, or you might be limited in the number of tracks you can have. So at that point, I would strongly advise you to upgrade if you feel limited by the software, but I would also strongly advise you to upgrade the software you already have, rather than learning something completely new from scratch. But if you're not buying an interface for whatever reason, or if you just definitely are sick of the software you're using, then I suggest you asking around your friends to see what other people you know are using, because they might let you have a go on their software, and they might let you pick their brains about it. The answer to the question is still what is available, it's just what is available because of the people you know in this situation. That's that. Let's finish with a couple just random DAW-related thoughts. Firstly, there will always be a catch with free software. When it comes to DAWs, as a consumer, you're probably thinking, sweet, free software. But the manufacturer will be thinking, sweet, we get to have someone try software and invest money in it later. There will always be a catch. So, for example, with Pro Tools First, which is free, you only get 3 projects. So that's super limited. I could bust through that in like 2 days, probably less than that actually. So that might be enough to get a rough feel of Pro Tools with, but it won't be enough to really go in depth with unless you're deleting projects every 3 projects basically. Audacity as free software is fine, but it's super basic. Random thought number 2 is that musicians who use Cubase seem to really hate Logic and vice versa. That's Logic the software, not the concept. Now, I've never tried Logic, but I know a few people who've used Logic and they can't stand Cubase. They cannot use it. And the few people I know who use Cubase can't stand Logic. So that's interesting, right? So that's something to bear in mind if perhaps you're thinking of swapping your DAW. If you use Cubase, you probably can't try Logic, or if you're using Logic, you probably won't want to use Cubase. So to recap, the question shouldn't be which DAW is best. The question should be which DAW do I have access to? I've been Liam. Thanks for watching. There's new guitar or music related videos every Friday at 4 PM on this channel. That's why you should subscribe, so you get them as soon as they come out. If you want to like the video, that'd be cool. If you want to leave a comment, especially if you're a Cubase or Logic user, I'd really like to hear your opinions on what I've just said. And yeah, see you later. Goodbye.